The giant killer known as Andrea. She's tough as rock and a powerful defense player. Lil Ragu known as Jared. He may be small but he's strong, and he's a punk rock skater. So come and check us out and follow us. The journey's just begun. We are Little Ragu and Giant Killer. Autism 101. We are Little Ragu and the Giant Killer. Autism 101.
Hi, I'm Jared, Little Ragu.
And hi, I'm Andrea, the Giant Killer.
And we're here with Daniel. How do you say your last name?
Kaplan.
Okay, cool. Daniel Kaplan.
Yeah, Daniel Kaplan.
Okay. Sorry.
So what country are you from?
I'm from Israel.
Oh.
I was born in Ukraine, but I moved to Israel when I was 8.5, and I'm living in Israel for the last 20 years, even a bit more.
So, what interests you in autism? What kind of connection you have with autism?
Actually, I have an autism myself. I was diagnosed when I was 10. My school psychologists noticed my weird behavior. For example, I was laughing. What?
No, I'm just laughing because you said weird behavior. I know what you mean. Because we both got autism.
I will explain. I on purposely said weird behavior with quotes.
Yeah.
For example, I was laughing about stuff that made laugh only me. For example, scenes from games that I was playing, or stuff like that. And in lessons, instead of listening to my teachers, what I did, I drew Pokemon and maps of cities and countries. I like it very much. All geography stuff and Pokemon, it's very interesting.
Sweet.
But as you may know, kids can be also very cruel. And because of my strange behavior, I was bullied both verbally and both physically. So one day my school psychologist noticed that something's going on with me. She called my mom, and then she told her we might do a diagnosis because to understand what's going on with me. So we did, and it turned out that I have Asperger, high functioning autism. I was diagnosed when I was 10, but I knew it for sure 6 years after. 6 years after. I'm sorry for my English. English, it's not my mother language. Also, I'm very excited because it's my first interview in English, and it's my first interview for something abroad. So sorry in advance if in some places I will speak a little official, or there will be grammar mistakes. Sorry in advance.
It's all good.
So I figured that I was on the spectrum on 100% when I was in 12th grade. It was 2 weeks before I started. I remember how my dad told me, and I wasn't ready to accept myself. I actually thought that if I'm on the spectrum, it means I'm worse than others. It means I can't succeed. And you know, in my family, we started to talk about autism pretty late. And in school, no one talked to me. No one explained what's going on with me. I was studying in class with for kids with special needs. I don't know how is it in US, but in Israel there are classes like that, kindergartens. I will talk about it more in details as the interview goes. So you know, I remember when I first saw my future classmates, and I didn't understand their behavior. I had no idea what autism is. Try to imagine yourself. You're 11 years old, you're coming to a new class, you see behavior that you don't use to. For example, one of my classmates did moves with their hands. Someone else talked to himself. I had no idea why I'm in this class. I didn't understand what's going on with me. No one told me, and I was afraid to ask my class teachers. We had two, because one for the morning, one for the noon, because in Israel, class for kids with special needs has a long study day from 8 till 3:30 a.m. So there is one teacher for the noon and one for the morning. So no one explained what autism is and what's going on with me. And because of that, I was ready to accept myself far after I finished school. It actually happened 4.5 years ago. In the beginning of 2014, excuse me, I joined an Israeli society program called REIM. REIM in Hebrew means friends, higher English. It's a program that gives people like us the opportunity to make friends, even to make relationship, without the fact that people look at you as weird. There is a group, there's meeting once a week for like hour and a half, 2 hours. It's really much depends on the group and on the mentor. There's a mentor, there's like 10 to 15 participants, and the mentor makes for us a variety of activities. For example, it encourages us to work with each other, to cooperate with each other. So once a year, there's a year trip. So in my first year trip in Reim, some guy from another group approached me and asked me if I too have problems. I mean, as an autistic person. Well, for me, it was a tactless question. Now, when I remember it, I think to myself, dude, I'm seeing you the first time in my life, and you asked me about my problems. I told him that very politely, but as is. We started to talk, and word after word, he said, I am not ashamed of who I am. And then it finally hit me. If he is not ashamed of who he is, then neither should I. And so since then, I started to make friends. I found a relationship. I had a girlfriend for like almost 6.5 years. I started to speak in front of people. I like it very much. And really, after this encounter with that guy, my life really changed.
What is it like to live in Israel as autistic?
Actually, it gives you a lot of confidence, because in Israel, the country helps people like us very much. First, we get a monthly pension, as well as there are entities like REIM that help us to find a job, to make friends, to find a relationship with girl, boy, depends on gender. Also, the awareness of autism in Israel, it's very high. So yes, although there are some people that still don't accept us, think that autism is a disease, which, excuse me for my high language, it's bullshit. It's not a disease. So there's still a lot of work to do, but it gives you a lot of confidence, because you know that the country won't leave you. The country will be there for you, will help you as much as it can, and I feel that I'm not alone. That people like us, we can be helped. There are people, there are entities that actually help us. So it gives us a lot of confidence.
That's good. That's good. How do you improve communication with having autism with other people? How did you do that?
Here. Sorry, I interrupted you.
What do you say?
Well, first, just accept us as we are. Don't judge us. Don't try to take our autism out of us. I experienced it myself, and it was very unpleasant. If we don't want something, for example, don't want to, I don't know, to go to school, to go to a trip, to be with a certain person, ask what exactly is going on, why we don't want it. Don't decide for us that you're going to do it because I said so, because it doesn't work like that. It can cause the autistic person to create anti for his teachers, for his parents, for whoever it may be. Give us a place for what we think, for what we feel, for what we want. And if you do, you will get our best version. Man, when I'm speaking like that, it's like I'm speaking about a computer software. But it's just, for me, it's the best way to describe it. See us, give us a place, and you'll get the best of us.
What does high function autism look like in adults?
Well, I'll tell you from what I saw. People with high functioning autism has a relationship, have friends, have jobs. They can live independently from their parents. Before I noted that in Israel there are entities that help us, as well as we find in an apartment or even community living. So there is a possibility for us to live outside of the parents' home. We travel, we have hobbies, we have our life. Just a sec. I wrote the answers. I just want to be sure I'm saying everything. Right, there it is. Some of us also activists in society. Some of us can understand social situation. Also, we're going to college. We're finishing college, and we just live. We also can accept ourselves the way we are, without judging ourselves.
Are relationships hard for an autistic person or someone like yourself with autism?
Well, it pretty much depends. It depends on the person. I think for people who have more difficulties than us, for example, low functioning autism, for them it can be pretty hard. I think what's the difficulty here? What's the difficulty here? It's actually to understand social situations. For example, when a girl is interested in you, when she's not interested, we can't always understand it unless we told. So
I
if,
agree.
yeah, we need it definitely.
I have those same problems. I definitely agree with you.
It makes us much more easier when we get an explanation. We don't always get it, that's true, but it makes us very very easy.
What do you think? You agree, Andrew? I totally agree on that one.
Thanks. It's actually great to hear it. You know, also, not all of us has the same self-confidence. Some of us are shy, and some of us afraid to approach girls because we don't know what to expect. But you know, I can tell about myself. My case, it's a bit different because my ex-girlfriend, she asked me if I want to date her. It was actually it was actually everything's happened when I expected it the less. You know, we were texting on Facebook, and I said to her that the distance between us, she lives pretty far from me. The difference is not bothering us to be friends. Now, in English, friends and boyfriend slash girlfriend, two different words. In Hebrew, the word chaverim, it means both friends and both a relationship. So it was it was confusing for me, as well as Hebrew. It's not my mother language; it's actually Russian. So that's what I said to her, and she asked me if I really wanted to be her boyfriend. I didn't know what to expect until I was 23. I didn't date a girl. I barely had even girls that I can call them friends. I can count them on one palm of my hand, one or two. And I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't have any experience in a relationship. But then I thought to myself, I can try. Nothing bad will happen. As well as to find a girlfriend, it was one of my most important goals in life, aside of getting a profession that both has a good salary and both is enjoyable. For my case, it's a little different. The explanation part, as well as if someone could introduce us to a boy or to a girl we like, I think it will make maybe a future relationship, but at least we can become friends. It will be easier and a lot less stressful for us, because you know, when we want to meet someone new, we can start overthinking. What will he say? What if he doesn't want to give us a chance, he or she? What will happen if the person will look at us with a sight in the eyes, like, where on earth did this guy felt on me? What exactly does he want? And in the end, we're too afraid, and we do not approach that person. It eats us from inside.
What is one advice you could give to an autistic to help improve?
Well, I actually have a few. I have
That's cool.
a lot of stuff to say about that. Well, first, autism, it's not a sentence. To have autism, sure, it gives us difficulties that neurotypical people might not have. But autism also gives us abilities. For example, amazing knowledge in math, physics, computers. You know, you can learn foreign languages easy like that.
So,
please remember, you can succeed. It is possible and there is hope, and I'm a living example for it. If you have autism or other special needs, whatever it is, it doesn't mean you can succeed. You just need the right people to be with you, that will believe in you, that will be there for you, and then you will succeed. Sometimes you also need to combine your inner will to succeed and the knowledge of a person from a side that actually knows how to get you to your goal. If you have an autism, you can succeed like everyone else. You're a human like everyone else. It doesn't make you worse. You know, once I also didn't think that one day I will speak in front of people, will tell my story, will inspire people. I had no idea. Probably if someone will say that to me, I will think that guy went completely nuts. No way. I won't be on a stage. I won't talk in front of people. But the life had other plans for me. Just a sec. I just want to make sure that I said everything I wanted. Oh, yeah. One more thing I wanted to say is some stuff in life you can start in a late age. For example, I started my first job when I was 19. I started to date a girl when I was 23, and I started my college studies. I took a course as an information specialist when I was 25. It's very late. But you know, some stuff you can start late, but you can finish it very quickly. Not because you're competing with others. That's just how it turns out. Also, I would like to read a song that describes my journey of how I accepted myself, of my struggles in life, and describe the best my journey of when I was then and when I am now. Just a sec. Technologies these days. Don't worry, it's not very long, and maybe you'll even recognize it. So here goes. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you don't. If you think you lose, you lost. For out of the world we find. Success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. For me, this song describes the best all my journey, when I was once, what I did in the process of accepting myself, breaking walls, breaking stereotypes that people with autism can succeed, can have friends, can have girlfriend, and so on, and till where I am today. You know, now here I am telling you my story, and maybe next time it can be someone else that has his story, his journey, his process that he's been through. And you know, to be honest, I'm very proud of myself about what I achieved in life, and especially by what am I doing right now. because, you know, in Israel, I used to give lectures for colleges, for schools. Sometimes it was on Zoom, sometimes it was live, but it's actually my first lecture, my first interview, excuse me, that I'm giving for something that is abroad. For me, it's a huge accomplishment, and for me, it's an honor that you wanted to interview me. The last year, I experienced pretty many losses, and this interview, it's actually, for me, it's a great way to finish my 29 year of living before my birthday in a few more days. So what I told you right now, all this interview, all this story, I just want to give people hope that if I succeeded, so can you. That's all. I finished my monologue.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Thank you for the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Thank you, man. It was cool to learn about you, and how Israel accepts autistic people is pretty nice.
Thanks. Thank you for the opportunity. In Israel, actually, the awareness is pretty high. Sure, there are still people that do not accept us well as in any other country. I wonder, how is it in US? Are people know how to accept people with autism? What's the awareness level in the US for autism?
What do you
I
think?
just don't know.
I think they kind of accept us.
It just depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on the person. Unfortunately, not everyone can accept us.
No,
But it's great. Really great to hear that both in US, people accept people like us.
well, thank you, and talk to you later.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gladly.
Bye.
Bye.